entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but need never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Greetings and welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday evening. Time for some Midnight's Edge After Dark Live. We've got Cece Kuroki with us. How you doing, Cece?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, same as always.
All right. Glad to hear it. We also have all 32 flavors of Nick Weiser with us. How you doing?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I overstayed my time at college a few years too many, but it was all worth it for the partying. How are you?
Doing the best I can. Thanks for asking. We also have Brian flying in here from Canada, but he sounds an awful lot like a Scottish bastard.
Hoser, you hoser. Hey.
Poser.
Diddly diddly potatoes.
Dilly dilly potatoes. I'm doing awfully well, sir. How are you?
Doing the best I can. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and I'm glad to have you back. How you been?
Well, you know,
Dealing with puppy life
stuff. Dealing with sick wife, sick puppy, but they're all better now. So, or mainly better now. So things are better. I can get some sleep. I hope not during the show, of course, but maybe during the show. That might be better. So now that Tom's left the show, that means CC, you're next up as the host.
I mean, no one will know if you fall asleep. I fell asleep once on the show. I don't think anybody noticed.
Yeah. And I'm just sick to begin with, as Tim in the chat says, yes. Life is good, I guess. What are we going to talk about tonight, guys, now that we've lost Tom? Should we talk about the massive amount of laser discs I got for a pittance today, even though I don't have a laser disc player?
Laser discs.
I got a whole pile of laser discs, almost all of them brand
Some
new.
nice ones too, yeah.
Yeah, I got the Jurassic Park one, and True Lies, and Independence Day. That was a nice one. Yes, it was good. Oh, here we go. Look, I'll show you. So these were 25 cents each. I don't have a Laserdisc player. The other one, that was Broken Arrow. Beethoven's Second.
Oh,
there you go. I'll talk about a sequel that's better than the first. That's Beethoven's
Company
Second.
Business.
I haven't even seen that one.
I don't have a player, but this is a nice one.
Oh, Crimson Tide. I think that's another one that has DTS on it, actually. Or at least 5.1, I think.
I'm looking on the back, trying to read it without my glasses on. It just says digital sound. So
I was going to say that was one of the big ones for that. But just so you know.
Executive Decision. Jurassic Park was the good one.
Yeah, that one goes for anywhere between 5 and 35 easily, probably, depending on the condition, because that one's pretty sought after because it has the original sound mix on it.
I think the sound mixes are important for the people who collect these. Executive Decision, one of my favorite movies. But look at they're all in such superb condition, 25 cents each.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Anyway, that was today's excitement.
Sweet.
I'll be sure I'll be doing a live stream to show them all off. So.
Awesome. Clobbering Times getting some love from FKHC 2005. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate the support here. And we miss Clobby, of course. Let's get into the news because we got a few things to talk about. For one, Kimmel won the late night war, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But kind of funny how this all turned out in the end because it has come out, or at least confirmed, what we were reporting last week, that the FCC and Trump had fuck all to do with this. This was all Disney's call after Sinclair and Nexstar pulled out. As Pierce Morgan also pointed out here from a statement from the Walt Disney Company that said, late Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. So yeah, tonight I'll be curious to see what he says. And oh my gosh, we have Scribe Light looking awfully hoggy there. How you doing, Scribe?
Oink, oink. Hello, everybody.
Squeals.
Hey. I just got up from a nap after reading. I'm on like book 9 of Chuck Dixon's Levon Cade books.
Oh, really? How are those?
Nice.
Been binging those, man. I tell you what, if anybody was the best writer for The Punisher, Chuck Dixon.
No,
man.
I can
Right?
vouch for on
So
behalf
good.
of Scribe. I'm on book 2 right now, and I really enjoyed the first.
Oh,
Just
man.
where it goes.
Compared to the movie, though, how did you feel the movie represented the character?
I mean, I can't fault the movie for having Jason Statham in it, obviously. You get Jason Statham to do your action movie, you get Jason Statham to your action movie. I'm just, if they decide to do sequels and such, there is such a, I don't know, without spoiling anything, the Southern hillbilly culture is such a major part of the storylines going forward in the novels. And the connections with Levon's family and everything, and their opposition, the sort of Southern suspicion of law enforcement becomes such a major plot point in so many of the stories. I don't know how they're going to replicate that meaningfully when they've made Levon a Cockney for the sake of Jason Statham's inclusion.
Well,
That's the only thing that I'm sort of like, I'm curious about, but I also kind of think it will inadvertently rob something from the character. But who knows? It might be all right.
yeah, I can see where your concerns could be with that. I mean, obviously, you got Sylvester Stallone and some other people working on it in the background to where, you know, if you've read the original First Blood novel, or if you've read First Blood, because there is no second novel,
All right.
you know how it ends. And you know how characters can be flipped around and changed and kind of made to
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
go on. But yeah, I see where your concerns come from.
Yeah, you could. I could see how you could pull some of that out of. I mean, if they're going to do other films based directly on the novels, the first couple novels, it's not really that important, but it becomes a major element as the series goes on into the bulk. So anyway, aside from that. The movie was a decent representation of the first novel, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do. But man, it gets into some hairy stuff later on in the novels. It's great though. Anyway, yeah, that's what I was up to, and I came on. I just saw that you guys were up and talking about the Jimmy of the Kimmel.
Yeah, we just read the official Disney statement. I just noticed something about StreamYard. You know, it'd be nice if they could fix some of the other crap we've asked them to fix time and time again. But then they add these really neat features like I've just noticed here. If you ask a question in your comment, a little question mark bubble will show up on the comment. So we know it's a question.
Yeah,
that is kind of cool.
It's a tease because for all the problems that they have and for as much as they charge, they keep adding really useful widgets.
But not the ones you asked for the last 3 years, right? Like I would love to just have it to where they put the super stickers to where even if it just says what the super sticker is. Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, the Rumble comments come through, but the Rumble rants still don't.
It's been kind of a toss-up because some things that I wanted, and this is before the regime change over there, I was like, hey, is there any chance you guys could like allow for background music to be played? Anyway, oh yeah, I made this up yesterday or the day before. And
well, on that note, the FCC, or the not FCC, but the whole YouTube thing came out today too, that they were silencing and taking down channels during Biden's years.
Oh yeah. Oh, and everybody knew it, but they denied it and everything else.
Oh, I thought that was a conspiracy. That never happened.
No, we live in a world now where it's usually 6 months to 2 years before the conspiracy becomes the truth.
This one had a few years to it, but either way, we were still right.
Yeah, I made this up yesterday, and
I love how they put it word for word that the Biden administration made them do it, and
they threw him under the bus. Yeah.
Yeah, said they didn't. I'll give them credit. They didn't like sugarcoat it at all. They said who it was, what they did, what they were forced to do, why they knew what they were doing was wrong. All the things that were supposedly a alt-right conspiracy.
Yeah, and just on the cusp of the Jimmy Kimmel thing where they're like, oh, well, Trump is he's taken over the media and he's totally silenced Jimmy Kimmel and everything. And then, 72 hours later, he's back on the air. I put this up yesterday, and it's taken off like a rocket, and I thought it was hilarious.
Somehow, despite Donald Trump's total fascist control over the media landscape, Jimmy Kimmel has returned.
Yeah. After Howard Stern, the Washington Post, Hollywood, CNN were like, "Oh my God, this is just a new example of the fascist authoritarianism of Donald Trump." And like I say, I'm not jazzed with the appearance of impropriety from the FCC, but I've been shown nothing to say that Donald Trump called up Bob Iger and said, "Take him off the air."
Nothing. They have done nothing.
Yeah.
If he had, they could have provided proof. And if they did, they would have flaunted that shit to the moon and back.
Yeah, there's no end of population in Disney or in ABC that having that information, they wouldn't have leaked it. They wouldn't have leaked it. They wouldn't have said it to somebody. So yeah.
And we said that to begin with because we had already had inclinations that the FCC and Trump hadn't done anything. And like you guys just said, had Trump made some kind of phone call, don't you think Bob Iger would have been out there? Or somebody would have leaked, like you just said to the press, that Trump or somebody within his camp was trying to pressure them to take Kimmel down. And this is why I don't believe in the Colbert bullshit either. And I've said that from the start. This is the biggest, dumbest bullshit we've ever heard as far as like them trying to, and I said this, what was it, Friday or Wednesday? I'm like, well, if they can make it look like it's Trump's fault, of course they will.
Yeah.
Like, you think they're going to deny that? You think they're going to get out of their way to be, no, Trump didn't call us.
I don't think they've been bothered about the facts for a long time, so I don't think they care.
No, well, that's part of the problem here. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the heels of all this, we have the YouTube announcement. They're like, Biden really did tell us to suppress freedom of speech on our platforms and things.
That's clearly not the F word from a political philosophy point of view. That's different.
Yes.
So is Kimmel actually going to be, are the affiliates going to carry it? Is that actually...
That's a good question, Brian, because actually a large portion of them are not.
I thought they were still resistant.
Yeah, Nexstar and Sinclair both announced they will not be carrying tonight's show at least. I don't know if that's an ongoing thing or just for the time being.
I think they will hold off until they know for sure what he's going to do, because let's be real, what was keeping this thing in the wings for so long, and we've reported on it heavily, is that Kimmel refused to apologize. And that was kind of what Bob Iger and Dana Walden wanted him to do and kind of make nice. And they also told him to tone down his political rhetoric. And instead, he wanted to clarify what he meant, which if we can go by the Rolling Stone and what was it, Hollywood Reporter, I think, put it out, what Kimmel really meant. It's like, let's be real. That's his camp leaking to the press what he was going to say or what he wanted to say. And in that, he was just going to double down basically and re-blame MAGA all over again for misinterpreting what he was saying. Instead of just going, you know what, I'm sorry, it was an ill-timed joke.
I'm all for letting him talk. He can talk as much as he wants. Put him on, let him talk.
Let him talk and let him run that show into the ground, and let's have that show have Disney toss money at it. I want them to throw money away. Like, these people are willing to, if this is one company who won't let their ideology go at the expense of tossing money, then please spend more money toss it and flush it away
Yeah,
sooner.
go
That
for
the
it.
sooner,
Let 'em
the
talk.
faster you flush, the faster you go away. So please.
I don't think this is a win.
I love that. Okay, I gotta accept real quick. For one, we're pretty diverse, and half of us aren't even from this country, Michael Nemo. And another thing, I had my FCC license, so I know exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Dude,
you
got
can say
married.
whatever
Dude,
you
dude,
want, pretty much anywhere you want, but on broadcast network or radio waves, because guess what? Those are regulated by the FCC, and you cannot just go out there and state shit that is demonstrably false and get away with it. Now, the problem is the Biden administration let everybody get away with it for years when they said shit about Trump, and that's why Trump is suing everybody right now.
For the
So,
record, I'm the
yeah.
guy in that meme
But you gotta remember,
who was left
Let
and is
CC
still
finish.
left. I'm still left. I was left 10, 20 years ago. I'm still left.
yeah.
But according to that meme, I'm no longer left. I'm alt-right.
well,
'Cause the left
anything
has
that's
just gone left and
anything-
left and left and left. But just
anything
for the
that-
record, I'm
Sorry.
still technically left.
Well, to their rules that they make up on the fly as they go, anything that's not to their left is automatically all right. Which even let's just pretend that that's true. Well, then the alt right is far more diverse than the far left is any day. Just saying, with all these different points of view, and you
Yeah.
decide to bubble them up all in one spot and decide all of that is alt right, well, then by default, the alt right is far more diverse than whatever the far left is. So, yeah.
And the problem with this is now, and I've been beating this drum heavily because it's true, is because of the FCC not holding to the standards they were supposed to over the Biden years and other things like that. Now we have the situation where I don't trust the fucking news. Not one bit. And this is the meme I think you were talking about, CC. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm the guy in the middle. I was always the guy in the
I
middle.
think most of us are. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And me too. Like this is the first time I ever voted Republican was this last election. Otherwise I either didn't vote or I vote Democrat up until recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you're
things have shifted.
still far right. You're still far right though, so it doesn't matter.
Don't be timing anybody out, guys, in the chat. Please don't.
Yep, there's no need.
Unless they're saying something that is completely unrelated to this.
Let
and
a
obviously,
moron
yeah.
be a moron. Okay.
Yeah,
You're
because I
allowed
don't
to be
think
a moron.
Kimmel should be silenced at all. And in fact,
No,
that's
that's
the
what I'm
point.
saying. He should be
Yeah.
just allowed to go on and say what he
Oh
wants.
yeah.
Let
And this
him
is where it
talk.
falls on Disney's lap because they could have put him on any other one of their network channels that is not a broadcast network, and nobody would have been able to do shit. They could have put him just on Disney Plus. They could have put him on ESPN. They could have put him anywhere, and they decided not to. This was their decision.
My understanding is that Sinclair wants him to apologize, even just in private, to meet with them privately and speak to them. I don't think he's
See,
gonna
here's
do
it.
that.
I don't want him. Here's the thing. I'm gonna have a really oddball take on this. I don't want him to apologize, and here's
Well, he's
why
not
I
going
don't
to.
want. Well, good, because if he did, it would not be authentic coming from him. Why say something you're not going to actually mean? Why? Why?
For the pragmatism of saving your show and the jobs of all your
Yeah.
crew and everybody else and your own long-term
Well, from what we heard, I will
viability.
give. Sorry, Scribe. I was just gonna say I will give Kimmel this much credit. From what we've heard from behind the scenes, the only reason he's even entertained the idea of this whole thing and continued discussions is because he was more worried about his staff. So I will give him credit for that. That
Okay,
does
fair
sound like
enough.
it was one of
Fair
his,
enough.
one of his issues. And in that, though, it's like not like half these people probably couldn't find jobs elsewhere. I'm not saying that because they're not the problem. Jimmy was the problem. See, and that's where Jimmy, I don't understand why he didn't see where his responsibility was in this. Even if you're not sorry and you don't want to apologize, that's fine. You at least have the obligation to go out there and say that, or in some way, shape, or form, kind of address it and at least tone down the political nature of your show at this point. Because let me tell you, it's not just that he got shut down, guys. I mean, we have a situation where Charlie Kirk was just murdered by somebody who was, as far as we understand, radicalized in a very short amount of time.
a very
right?
raging leftist. That's not even
Very
up for
short
dispute.
amount of time. He went from fucking the right with his family, as far as we know, to from 0 to 60 to fucking crazy leftist and shooting Charlie Kirk in no time flat.
Dude
Right?
was dating a
So-
furry.
Well, regardless, that's the other side of this, is that somebody already took pot shots at an ABC station over this shit. This is what I'm talking about. This is how radical this shit is. They talk about the radical right, but nobody ever talks about the radical left but people in our sphere.
Yep. This happened a few days ago. And let's not forget the attempts on taking on the president last year, the various amounts of attempts. Like,
now, to be fair, they don't know for sure if this is the
and
reason,
then the
but
riots
all
of
evidence points
2020,
to it.
the riots of 2020 as well. But somehow that conversation, they don't have the balls to have.
Yeah, and I get it. There's a lot of heated discussion in the chat, guys. Just kind of keep it as civil as you can, and nobody will get booted as long as they're not using words and stuff they shouldn't be using or personally attacking people.
I would like to know who has the rights to the YouTube channel. It's not for nothing. It's drawing viewership of its own kind and its own revenue stream. So if he loses the show, does he get to keep that YouTube channel? Because I would assume the network probably owns it, right?
I bet you the YouTube channel is probably owned by ABC.
ABC,
yeah. He'd have to. Doesn't he have his own personal YouTube channel, or am I?
He might. And I'm not sure which one is which as far as has like I'm assuming the Jimmy Kimmel Live one has the 20 million viewers or 20 million subscribers. Sorry, not viewers. That's a big difference.
I mean, if I'm trying to be fair here to his viewership, that has to count for something on top of the actual.
Look, I'm not going to say that people don't watch him, and there's a lot of people that were upset about the situation, and I understand where people are upset about the situation, because even as somebody who isn't a fan of Jimmy Kimmel, I don't think freedom of speech should ever be under attack. But I think the problem here is the perception of the situation, right? You have so many people that are treating this as a freedom of speech situation when it's not. It's more so you have an obligation. Yes, you have a responsibility when you're on network television, and this I cannot say enough, right? Like, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, the whole point of it is to keep the news as realistic as possible. Now, we know everything is manipulated, and we know it always has been. But at least it kept some sort of standard there. And if anything, it worked better on the local level. And that's kind of what the FCC guy was coming out and saying, when he wasn't even really speaking on the part of like the whole idea of this situation necessarily in general, but how he was talking about how the FCC's reach goes so far, but like the local level, they have more power than you think. And the networks have been pressing them for years, right? Mm-hmm. Because it used to be no thing back in the day. I used to bring up how, like, you know, when Roseanne had that lesbian kiss, a bunch of channels decided they weren't going to carry it. And when Ellen came out of the closet, a bunch of channels weren't going to carry it. I don't agree with that, but that's what he's talking about. Is back then, certain areas, if they decided they didn't want to carry that kind of content, they could either, you know, not show it or show it at a later time. See, and some channels did that instead. They didn't necessarily not show the shows. They just held them off until after 9, 10 o'clock to where they knew family viewers weren't going to be watching. Because a lot of times it's not so much that they want to take that aspect of it of, oh, we don't think this should be on TV, as it is, this is not good for primetime family viewing. See, that's where they're misinterpreting that kind of thing. Because other times, most people don't give a shit as long as it's on after 10 o'clock in most areas. But that being said, no, I don't agree with anybody being silenced. As Brian said, he can sit there and he can still say whatever he wants anywhere he wants. He hasn't, because he's been smart and keeping his mouth shut for this last week to get to this point. But I'm sure we're curious what he's going to say tonight. What do you guys think he's going to say tonight? I mean, it's going to be an interesting monologue, I'm sure.
Well, who are his guests? I mean, I heard somebody say it's going to be Gavin Newsom, but
that would be interesting.
I don't know. I don't care. Even if I wanted to care, I'll find out from someone on social media. He might have a week or two of a boost, and then it'll just go right back down. After that, he'll have a short-term win.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
And they'll run with that short-term win as like this big, like, we're back thing. Because let's be fair here. He's going to get boost because it's the whole, oh, look, we're back type of thing. But then all of a sudden, after a few weeks, he's going to be right where he picked up with the dying crowd.
Well, I think he's setting out his stall with the guests that are being mentioned in the chat. He's setting out his stall and he's saying this is a purely political show now, or
sounds
political.
Like
but it's going to be nakedly political.
Well,
yeah. What's he got to lose? What's he
Yeah,
got to
he's got
lose,
nothing
really?
to lose.
His contract's up in the near future.
But-
He knows his time is short, so he might as well go out with a
And I
proverbial
say,
bang.
go for it, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Get these people in and say whatever you all want.
Yep. I don't have I don't have any problem with what happened to Jimmy Kimmel thus far, but I don't think there should be any government intervention short of him actually
Right.
committing a crime or and as I said before, if this was under any other circumstances, Jimmy Kimmel's comments trying to align a bad actor with MAGA or something probably wouldn't even made a ripple in the pond. But given the
Right.
circumstances, it became an issue that at worst, under any other situation, an apology and a fine would have probably covered it, and we move on. But he couldn't
Yeah.
do that. So
Oh no, I agree with you because that's what I said from the start. At most, this probably would have just been a fine.
Yeah.
And Gonzalo brings up a good point here because Bill Maher was fired from ABC. What was it, 20 years ago now?
yeah.
For shit related to something he said about 9/11. I don't even remember the exacts.
Well,
But it was
I think
funny because last weekend he came out and basically said that Jimmy fucked up in so many words.
yeah. Well, I think it was when Maher gave that monologue. If I'm not mistaken, he said it was 20 years ago to the day that he got fired from ABC for making those comments about 9/11, and kind of odd coincidence. But that wasn't that was completely politic. That was just because it was. You can look back on what he said now and you parse whether or not it was really that bad or something, or if it was a joke. But at the time, everybody was so sensitive, and understandably so, that he didn't make anybody happy with it, and he faced the ultimate consequence. And then he went on to HBO and had a continued career forever. Just like Jimmy Kimmel could if he gets fired
It's a
from ABC
more
eventually.
appropriate place for him because he
Yeah,
can say what he
exactly.
wants. Then, yeah.
Yeah, and if Jimmy Kimmel ends up as a commentator or something on MS Now or I don't even or Apple TV after this or something, he'll be fine.
Yeah, but Mars show goes over way better than Kimmel does.
He's had the
and-
better
and-
takes as of
I
late
think
too.
he's
Like
a
I said,
smarter guy.
Even before even before recently. Here's the thing: one, he knows how to entertain a crowd better. Two, he actually has open dialogue discussion with people who are not like him, and that alone's a big thing. So he has far more humility than Kimmel does, and yet him and Kimmel are more like each other in a political sense. Yet Maher has a dramatically better show in every sense of the word.
Well, Maher actually entertains people coming in that are diametrically opposed to his usual views and things, and gives them a
Right.
chance to speak their minds and listens to them. And Maher, he's a kind of a fair weather friend, depending on the situation. It wasn't that
Yeah.
long ago that he was apologizing on the air and like making penance to Ice Cube for having used a phrase on his show.
I
it's
remember that.
Yeah, so I take Maher in doses. Sometimes he comes across with an idea or a take that is reasoned, and other times he sounds like an absolute California Looney Tune. So,
absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think he's one of the few people who learned from his lesson from what happened to him, and that's why I think he had the take he did. For those who don't know, to be clear, he basically said Jimmy fucked up by lying on TV about the mega killer, where everybody knew at that point, or lying saying the killer was MAGA when everybody knew at that point that he wasn't. And that's basically what Maher said. Staying consistent with the idea of, there's freedom of speech, but there's also not a freedom of consequence. Somebody who's actually faced that consequence being him. But again, the things that he said in the past from my memory were more his opinions than actual news per se. But since he was on broadcast TV and he probably didn't say them correctly, or there was pressure from there may have been actual pressure at the time. I think you were just saying that, weren't you, Scribe, that from the administration to get him off the air or something like that. Wasn't that the case? Our Scribe's muted. He must have stepped away.
I highly doubt any of these guys actually watch the news, whether it's Colbert, Kimmel, Maher. They get lots of money. They do their show. They have writers. They go home. They watch the latest TV show on Netflix. Maybe they wine and dine with some rich people who all pretend to like each other. I doubt they spend even 10 or 15 minutes paying attention to the news every day. I could be wrong. Maybe there's somebody out there who's in this position who actually works all day and lives in the news and knows what the fuck is going on.
I do think Maher kind of tries to keep up with it as best he can, as far as that
Maybe
goes. But the rest of them, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe of all of them, he makes a cursory effort. I can get that feeling, but Come on, we all know Mar just goes home and gets really, really fucking stoned.
Oh God, yeah,
Well-
obviously.
Either way, ActionCom says years from now when they do the True Hollywood story, or years from now, I think he means when they do the True Hollywood story of Jimmy Kimmel. Is E even still on the air? How will they frame this? It's hard to sound heroic lying about a tragedy.
Well, they'll figure out creative. Well, you gotta understand what these type of people. A lot of people in our corner, whether they're right, center, independent. If there's one thing you gotta know, they underestimate a lot of these loonies, thinking that they're stupid. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. They just don't care, and they will find some smart, slick way of downplaying this to make it seem like Jimmy is the victim in all this. They are good playing that card. I mean, they are professional victims. That is their currency. They're gonna find a way to downplay it. There's no way they will. Do not put it past them.
Yeah. And then Professor R2 brought up a good point here. He says there's a 5-minute, or this is what he thinks will happen. There will be a 5-minute standing ovation. I think so too. He'll have celebrity guests in the crowd, and he'll claim to be he's the victim and call Trump names. He will double down on his hate of MAGA. I think there will be probably something. I wonder if he'll do it as blatant. What do you think?
There will
'Cause
be
it sounds like you have an
contrition.
idea.
It'll
Yeah.
be some. There will be a statement of contrition of a kind.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure.
There
You
won't
don't
be an
think so?
apology though.
And that's fine. He can say, as long as he's
Yeah.
not threatening somebody, he can say what he wants. And I think it's better that everyone hear what he's saying.
Get your scribe bingo card ready and find out and put on there like freedom of speech, Trump evil. Just
Will
come
he
up
use
with a
the
bunch.
F word? Well, he might use the F word, the bundle of sticks word.
Nah.
Nah.
He'll make some reasoned sort of. I think there will be a statement in there of contrition regarding Charlie Kirk's death. But I also think that he's going to have to play the victim card and characterize what happened to him as pressure from FCC and Trump and everything else. And
It makes me wonder because the whole thing with Walden and Bob Iger was that they did not want him to clarify his statement. That was
Right.
where I feel like they came to an impasse. Because I
So I
don't
wonder-
think the
I wonder what they
apology was as
negotiated
big of a
then.
deal outside of Sinclair. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
wondering
so-
is how he's even going to address it. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the compromise here? If they allowed him back on the air, what did he say or what did he promise to do that let them go? Even though they knew probably that the Nexstar and Sinclair would probably still not broadcast it.
And they're not. See, that's the
Yeah.
understanding is that they're not going to. So he may even comment on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
My only concern is because I see Professor R2's comments about him making fun of Hero. My concern out of that is not the fact that he can, but I think that's just like a step closer towards normalizing the idea of downplaying and making fun of funerals. And some people, there are comedians out there who say, "Hey, yeah, when I die, don't think much of it, yada yada." But for something as tragic as Charlie Kirk's was, I worry we're setting a really ugly precedent if we let Kimmel get away with that.
He's bound to have a lot of confidence going into tonight. If I
Oh,
was to
you
guess,
know it.
with all of the the Hollywood people behind him and everything, he's probably being told constantly by however many people to just go hard on this.
And I think, generally speaking, the people at Disney and ABC will be agreeing with him in private. It's Nexstar and Sinclair that have been putting
Right.
the
And I
pressure
think
on.
that's where I don't think they're worried. As far as I don't know if they made this decision and then Sinclair and Nexstar just decided they still weren't going to budge, or if they already knew they weren't going to budge. And if they knew they weren't going to budge, at that point, Jimmy just pretty much gets free reign to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So do they let him
fine.
back on the air because they've decided not to care about the backlash from Sinclair and Nexstar, or because Jimmy has promised to do something that, at least for the sake of PR, alleviates the pressure? Because
You would think if he did that, then Sinclair and Nexstar would be carrying it then.
So you think they would have told Nexstar and Sinclair ahead of time what he was going to do tonight on his monologue?
I think so. I would think.
I find it an interesting battle going on here behind the scenes between the various components of the system, which was one we don't normally see or think about. And you know more about it, Tom, because you've been in the business and you've got the FCC license. The affiliates,
well, it's expired now, but yeah,
the local stations and the affiliates and the grouping together of those under people like Nexstar and Sinclair against the studio and the talent and all the, if you can call it Jimmy Kimmel talent. We're seeing the mechanisms laid bare, and it's a power struggle between the elements of those mechanisms, or those elements. Nexstar
I agree with you.
Nexstar and Sinclair have probably been pissed off about many things in the last few years, particularly as they're probably paying more for stuff that they.
Well, they're probably losing local sponsors as well, guys. Like, that's the thing we need to understand.
Seeing the system pulling itself apart here. This has just been the spark that's ignited that.
I agree with you. Like, I think that this is a bigger issue more so than just partisan shit.
Yes,
this is about money.
That's what I think.
And this is the same thing we saw with Colbert. Now, they can spin it any way they want, and we're going to see them continue to spin this bullshit and Trump's fault, Trump's fault, Trump's fault, right? But as long as they can keep making it look like Trump's fault, they will.
Headlines like this are just hyperbolic nonsense.
Exactly. And that's why I brought it up.
Missing a show for a week is venomous evil. I mean, venomous evil is having being unalived.
Mm-hmm. And this is where I don't think there's any quarter to be given at this point. And I totally understand. Like, I'm not somebody who's a fan of, taking away anybody off a platform whatsoever, even if it is for something like this. But at the same time, it's like, where does the line be drawn? And this is a problem I brought up with the FCC is, if you don't use it, you lose it. And the FCC, the reason they're coming off like such jerks right now, if they were to do anything, even though they haven't, is because they haven't done anything for so long. That's the problem. That
system is broken. But to use words like venomous evil, that's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, and Jimmy Kimmel,
and this is why people are getting hurt. Language like that.
Jimmy Kimmel has owned this attitude for a while. See, this is the thing. It's like I think it's only, and not to downplay it or anything, but it's obviously because you had someone assassinated that this is becoming an issue. Jimmy Kimmel was the one who was saying that anybody who didn't get the injection shouldn't get an ICU bed. This guy was wishing death upon innocent people prior to this anyway, and nothing. Sinclair and Nexstar didn't try to take him off the air then, as far as I know, and he certainly didn't have his show taken off. ABC should just own it. They've had this guy on their on their airways for 20 years. He's been exactly who he is the entire time. Yeah. If he comes on tonight and he's not apologetic and everything, I'm like, great, leave him on the air.
Yes, let him get on with it, and then his own words will be his. People can judge on his own words over the next period of time. But who's been under siege, Dan Gilroy, for the last few years?
Exactly.
Who's been under siege? Who are the people who've had their livelihoods ruined and their businesses ruined and their shows cancelled? As we talked about briefly earlier, Google and YouTube. Some people lost their entire livelihoods because their YouTube channels were cancelled because they were put under siege by that administration at that time. That is a real thing that happened, not a guy skipping a show for a week.
Right. Yeah, and how many had their professional careers ruined because they decided not to take a medical decision that was mandated to them? How many people had their lives and livelihoods destroyed by the lockdowns and the inability to earn a living next to the big box stores that were allowed to stay open? And on and on and on. And especially in relative strength to the assassination of an individual. Give me a break. Unless you've got, and trust me, I said it from the beginning. If you've got evidence that the federal government has stepped in to try to suppress speech or to try to punish people under the First Amendment, Biden did it, and he didn't get any punishment for it.
Well, we have evidence for that.
And we have evidence of that
today. Yeah. And I wonder if that wasn't part of the reason.
People with millions of subscribers were deplatformed and lost their living.
We had the talk show series I was doing for years. I got in two different instances, I got community strikes against my channel for a couple of shows that I hosted, simply because we talked about the pandemic. That's it. We just talked about it. You
didn't have to say anything controversial. Just saying
we read an
words.
article. We read articles about, because, I mean, heaven forfend, we talk about something that's encompassed the entire world. Yeah. And I got a community strike for it. And I had to appeal it. And thankfully, it got reversed. But I was at one point about one step away from having my channel deleted
Now that's government overreach right there, because that's what I've been trying to tell people is like, you know, we've been under attack for years, like you just said, as opposed to the networks who have gotten away with literally going out and saying Trump is fucking Satan.
No, does that
To
mean
quote
he
the
is?
South Park
no, wait a
episode.
minute. Is he Satan or is he fucking Satan? That's
I
two
know,
different
right?
things.
Like that's the whole point of the. I know. I was like, wait, people, it's gonna get to a joke, and it finally got to the joke, and nobody was watching anymore, so that's their own fault. But yeah,
Anyway.
they have a play on the words that Trump is literally fucking Satan. So, because you know they constantly say that he's literally Hitler. You know, like that's so. It's like now finally South Park is doing it, and you guys didn't watch. Anyway,
Thing is,
Hyperguyver.
if he was literally Hitler, he would actually be Hitler, and he would
Right? I know.
Yeah, so he
Well,
can't
that's the
be
whole problem with
literally
using the
Hitler.
term,
He could be
right?
like him. He can't be literally him.
How many times, though, in the last 10, 12 years have we heard Trump is literally insert your evil person here? Right? Like, and then you wonder why stations are getting shot up and Jimmy and fucking, you know, Charlie Kirk got shot and why Trump almost got shot. That's why. And I've been saying that for years. But anyway, Hyperguyver 2 says Kimmel didn't win squat. Nexstar and Sinclair have made it clear that they won't air his show on their networks. His victory is extremely hollow. Well, you have to give me a little bit of leeway on the clickbaity thumb. But he did technically win. But here's what the FCC Conrad, I can't remember his first name, but something Conrad had to say the other day. This was like last week. So this was before, like right after I think Kimmel was off the air. But like this is what made everybody come after the FCC last week, because he said this.
No,
I
look,
think it was
again,
MSNBC,
broadcast TV is
CNBC.
different. We're on a cable show right now. You don't have an FCC license. You don't have an obligation to serve the public interest. Podcasts don't either. Stand-up comedians, whether they're on lots
Brendan
of forms
Carr,
of
that's his
communications,
name, sorry.
don't. And Kimmel is free to do that. But if you have a broadcast TV license, that means that you have something that very few people have. And you're excluding other people from having access to that valuable public resource. It comes with an obligation to serve the public interest. And again, over the years, there's been a rule in place at the FCC that local TV stations get to preempt programming that they don't think meets the needs of their community. But recently, these national programmers, ABC, Disney, Comcast, NBC, they've been exercising outsized control and power over those local TV stations, and there's been no pushback. And
That's what I was getting at there.
this is a very significant moment because local broadcasters are now pushing back on national programmers for the first time that I can think of in modern history. And that's one of the things.
Probably since, like I said, they preempted Eleanor Roseanne was probably the last time I can think about it. I think it happened.
Tom, I'm sorry, I do have to drop right now.
Yeah, I know you got to
I've
run. I
gotta
know
go.
Scribe's
I
got to
gotta
run
dash.
too. But
Sorry about
Right,
that,
let's
everybody.
do.
No, your final thoughts, man. Take care.
Yeah, just, you know, as long as Kimmel isn't saying something directly threatening somebody, then let him speak, and then we'll hear what he has to say. And if people don't want to tune in to hear it, that's up to them. And his words
right.
will be the ultimate. The judgment on him in the future could be on the words that he says now, and that's the way it should be. So let him talk. Anyway,
All right. Well, thanks for being here, Brian.
Cheers.
And plug your channel real quick and get on out of here.
I have a channel.
And it's called
has a
That
channel.
70s
That's
Rock
70s
Fan.
Rock Fan. Thanks,
Thanks so much,
guys.
man.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Nah, and I know you got to leave us too, Scribe, but I'm sure you have plenty to say about this, and hopefully you get to join us again tomorrow. If not, but
Oh, yeah, well,
anything
I'm
more
sure
to
we'll
say
talk
about this
about it.
tonight before you have to go?
No, I think I've said my piece, and tomorrow will be more interesting because we'll know what he ended up saying. We can talk about that. But yeah, now I can call myself a YouTube Biden survivor. Everybody, I'm a survivor of the Biden administration.
That's true. Yeah.
My channel's still around despite their
Oh.
attempts to try to shut me down.
R2 gave us some bingo cards here. Here you
Yes,
go.
I saw that.
So you
Bingo,
can use those
bingo.
tonight if you want to. There you
Here's
go.
my bingo cards. Thank you so
There
much.
you go. Standing ovation, celebrities and audience, fascists, Nexstar, no mention of ABC attack, mock, CK funeral, Nazi. Mega is pejorative, crying, Trump, Charlie Kirk, Sinclair, free speech, FCC, Disney attacks Disney, ABC, and Antifa. I don't think he's going to attack Disney and ABC, but I think the rest of this is going to be a black art card.
That's
I
fair
think you're
game.
right. Yeah.
That's fair game. That's fair game. Just as a plug, just in the last little bit posted, Andre and I did some reviews of Conan comic books.
That's right.
It's going to be a new series that we're going to try to work on here as we go through the Titan Conan comic books and review them. As Andre is practically a lifelong Conan fan, and I am, in relative terms, a newcomer. So check that out. That just got posted. I posted it over on my Twitter. If you guys want to see that, of course, you can see it on Midnight's Edge. And comments and feedback and everything else, because this is the pilot episode of a new series. And then, of course, tomorrow I'll be, unless something comes up, I'll be on Midnight's Edge in the morning. And then Thursday, speaking of bingo stuff, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be the next episode of TED Excellence with TEDx Bingo, as we go over another off-brand TED Talk for enlightenment and entertainment. And something just crashed in the room. I got to go deal with whatever that was. But anyway, guys, thanks for having me on, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Yeah, so on that note, guys, stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot of cool new things here at Midnight's Edge. Check out that new video series from Scribe and Andre. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff, so stay tuned for that, and we'll have more scheduling changes as well in the near future. But anyhow, any final thoughts, Nick, on the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing before we move on?
Don't give a shit.
CC?
You know what? Like I said, I'm kind of with you on the whole say your piece thing. Yeah, that's pretty much, I think, what, let him go in the air, let him say what he wants, let him fall on his sword, let him, as long as he's not literally going on there telling people to commit violence, which, you have to kind of,
he will start pushing towards that button, though.
And I think that a lot of the discussion I've seen in other shows I've watched too is like, well, what I really do expect from him is a lot of very passive aggressive commentary. I think he's going to get a lot sharper with that passive aggressive kind of like trying to tread the line as closely as possible to saying it outright. And I don't know, like I said, I am against literally the incitement of, I'm against violence, period. I'm a little bit of a pacifist in that regard, but I mean, in all of human history, there's a lot of killing. So, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I let him go on, let him say his thing, and people will watch him if they want to. The future is not in cable anyways. The future is in people going independent, generally speaking, other than the fact that we are all independent under the thumb of Google right now anyways. So,
and I'm glad you noticed that, CC, because the more people realize that like these major outlets are not needed, like the better off we all are. They're only good for the perception of being famous and for the connections they have. And well, that's nice to have. You get up a lot of creative control over a lot of those things. The more heads that get involved in your whatever it is that you're doing that goes mainstream. So it's best to have as much independence as possible.
There's no reason to be spending $250,000 per episode on a show like that. I appreciate like actually filming on a stage in a place where you can all sit in the same room together. Not all of us have that ability. Obviously, we do not live in the same city. The three of us, we cannot all sit in the same room together. I appreciate there's a value if you have the ability to do that. If you can get like professional lighting set up and all that stuff, even have an audience. You don't need to be spending $250,000 an episode for this shit. It just goes to the whole overspending. Unless most of it's on cocaine, spending in Hollywood is just out of control. There's absolutely no reason in this day and age for that kind of spending. It's kind of like, in the music business, they say back in the day, they spent like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars producing an album. And I guess, they didn't have the technology back then they do today, but even then I was like, come on, dude, it's a bit much. So that'd be my take on that. You can, like I said, I don't. I think they've both gone AFK. So here I am alone on the panel, the only one speaking right now, unless I've lost my internet connection and I'm just speaking into the void. No, but I mean, when somebody goes independent, you can see what their talent is. Like I said, I don't think a lot of these guys are literally. Kimmel is an IP. He's not he's not an independent talent. He's an IP. They're selling the name Jimmy Kimmel and they're having people write for him. if he's actually talented, if he's actually capable of standing on the stage and doing his own thing, let him do it. Let him show that he can run the show on his own. Otherwise, he's just an IP. He's just the face and the name they're selling. They could AI his fucking likeness for all that matters and call it Jimmy Kimmel, because that's all he is at this point. He's just the writers in the writers' room. And I saw a comment in the chat earlier. I don't think the writers in the writers' room watch a whole lot of news. They're getting paid bottom dollar. They have their opinions. They probably surf Google News for 5 minutes. Look at the headlines. You ever notice these shows go to the same 5 jokes over and over and over again? It's like,
well, for the longest time, the punchline was just "fuck Trump." Remember?
Yeah, but they have this very small list of go-tos, and it's not just "fuck Trump." It's like when they mention the name of a person, it's like this person and this person who also is this. And that's just a joke they use 1,000 billion times because they're too lazy to come up with anything. So they have a short list. They probably have a very short 1-page list of typecast jokes, so they can just do the same thing over and over again. They don't have to work too hard. They look at the Google headlines for 5 minutes. Oh, this is the headline. That's the thing, is that we're promoting to our liberal audience. So this is the Trump bad. Just going to what he did when on the night that got him into trouble. I know it wasn't the Trump part that got him into trouble, but that was a go-to joke. It's like go-to Trump talking in front of the helicopter and make bland fucking dumb commentary on it, right?
Yeah. Basically, for the longest time, you're not wrong, but for the longest time, it wasn't even jokes, right? It would just be like, so-and-so said this today, and you know what? Fuck Trump. Or fuck Trump supporters, as Mecha J points out. And that would be the punchline, right? There wouldn't actually be a joke there.
No, it's just absolute minimum effort.
Yeah,
people just they recycle the well, and then they go home and do something else with the rest of their time, Yeah. And I'm not going to shit on some of the people that probably, the lighting tech who really wants to get that lighting right and puts their heart and soul into it. Good on you, you know what I mean? And that's the person who's suffering if the show goes down. But I don't have any credit for the writers on this one. I think they're just
But all right, kids, let's move on to our next topic here, because we do have a semi-related topic. Not exactly, but there was a new show that was meant to be on Apple Plus, or it has started. I don't fucking know, because I dropped my Apple Plus TV. It's too expensive. The Savant has been postponed following the Charlie Kirk assassination. This is a Jessica Chastain show. I guess it's uber leftist. So let's read this real quick. Apple TV Plus has postponed release of the Savant. It's upcoming. It hasn't started yet. It's upcoming thriller series starring Jessica Chastain as an investigator working to prevent domestic extremism. The move comes amid aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination. After careful consideration, we have made the decision to postpone the Savant, reads a statement from Apple. We appreciate your understanding and look forward to releasing the series at a future date. The official logline for the series says that it follows an undercover investigator known as the Savant as she infiltrates online hate groups in an effort to stop domestic extremists before they act. In it, Christian plays Jodie Goodwin, a military veteran who works with the Anti-Hate Alliance. There, she secretly visits 4chan-like message boards and tries to draw out possible terrorists. Early in the series, while proposing as a white nationalist, she stumbles upon the planning of a large-scale domestic attack and attempts to infiltrate the group to thwart it. Huh.
Oh, God.
Maybe they got the wrong side here, huh? The Savant is based on a 2019 Cosmopolitan story by Andre Stanley titled, "It is Possible to Stop a Mass Shooting Before It Happens." The article discusses the work of an investigator who indeed is known as the real-life Savant, or simply as K, whose job to stop potential mass murders from carrying out their plots, and whose focus had been pulled toward the alt-right, a younger, more misogynistic version of the white supremacist movement that's converting a new generation on message boards and social media. Yeah, I can see why they pulled this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a few months. They'll probably what they'll do is they'll give it the stealth release. They're just waiting for the heat to die down, and then they'll give it a small, lower scale release, and it'll be forgotten about. The timeliness is very unusual. I will say that. Like the fact that this was coming out, and then all of a sudden, because I remember when I watched it was the Drinkers video on the trailer of this, and I was thinking, oh boy, I look forward to watching his review of the show. I remember a lot of people were looking forward to watching the episodes of this because I wasn't going to watch it, but I was going to watch everyone else's videos on it. And man, I wonder if people are going to forget about this because I think they're going to just not promote this thing at all. They're just saying this may be officially a dead on arrival, cut our losses, let this one go.
Yeah, I just think it's funny thinking about this. Okay, so this Savant in real life supposedly stopped at least one supposed would-be assassin. Maybe they're working on the wrong side. Had they been working on the other side, they could have stopped 5 or 6 by now, maybe. Just saying, but hey, that's just me. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. It's just, it's a stupid idea for a show, if you ask me, to begin with. Because these are the kind of shows, like, even if it is based on reality, I think give people the wrong idea. Like CSI is a good example of that, right? Like, I love CSI, don't get me wrong. But I have to constantly tell people, it's like, you do realize that's not how the fucking real world works, right? Like I've seen enough real crime stuff to know that they don't have any of that fancy tech that they have on fucking CSI. You know, it's almost akin to, like, you know, back in the zoom in, enhance days of bullshit. It's like, no, that's not how the fucking world works. Like, you can't make something better. And even if you do it with AI now, I could still go, well, is it really what it is? Or is it just the AI assuming that's what it is? Right? Like, that's the thing we have here. And it's the same kind of problems with some of this shit here. You get yourself too wrapped up in, you know, too much reality with this shit, if you ask me. Woman is forced to sleep with modern Adolf Tickler in order to save lives. Okay, lady. Sure, whatever you say. Oh shit. Anyhow, so yeah, I thought that was just kind of a fucked up funny story that kind of was related to the whole business with Charlie Kirk and Jimmy Kimmel, especially considering. But we have another bit of news that's I guess exciting for some. Baywatch is coming back, kids. And the reboot has been ordered for Fox for the 2026-27 season. Does that mean boobs are back in style? Hello?
Yikes. Oh boy. Man.
A reboot? Did it ever go off the air?
Technically, no. I wouldn't say.
I mean, I didn't know they were still allowed to do this, but it's a good idea. You just film people with a lot of skin on the beach and air it. People will turn it on at their place of business and attract customers. I've seen it when I'm delivering food. I've seen it going to the restaurant and there's Baywatch on the TV at the restaurant. It's like, that's a good idea. I'm not really
Boobs
a
do
Baywatch
sell.
fan, but I'm a fan of you know, pleasing things on the screen. That's okay. It's very
Well, what's
easy
funny
and,
is how big the show was outside the U.S.
Why does she always look like she's running?
Anyhow, yeah, that was from the movie, but yeah.
I've never seen the movie. So I
it's
couldn't
bad.
tell you. I personally don't care. I never watched classic Baywatch, but hey, if it makes a lot of men out there happy, great. I hope they are happy. Of course, as long as it's good.
Baywatch has never been good.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I'm not joking. I'm not joking when I said I haven't seen it. I really don't.
Oh, you're totally misunderstanding why people watch the show, Nick. It's not good at all. It's just there's a lot of boobs. Which also makes me wonder why it was so big outside the U.S. Because in a lot of countries, nudity is no big deal. So, like, why are people all, like, into, like, that? Like, and it's even a joke in Borat, remember? Like, that's why he wants to marry Pamela Lee Anderson, because Baywatch was so big everywhere. But anyhow, we got a super chat here from Goddess of Whim. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, the Mando Grogu trailer dropped with a meh. Exactly. That's why I forgot all about it. Proof practical effects CGI Demon Slayer has made more than Fantastic Four. Oh wow, yeah. I didn't even realize it had so far, but that's what, in 2-3 weeks release it made more so far than Fantastic Four? Wow, that's pretty quick. And F4 just hit VOD, so
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer had a massive drop its second weekend though as well. Obviously, I know it's probably a lot cheaper of a budget, but it's unfortunate it didn't have any legs either. So either way, it's nowhere near a failure, but still a bummer to see.
I mean, I watched the Mando trailer. I'll give it credit for not spoiling the movie. Like if the franchise had a better, if it was in a better place right now, I would look at that and say, thank you for not spoiling the movie. It's a good tease. Problem is the franchise is not in a good place right now, and I need a reason.
The trailer is barely a trailer.
Yeah,
is it just me?
No, it's hey, remember Baby Yoda? We've grouped him together with these other puppets. And actually, you know what? I don't think that's a terrible idea. A bunch of puppets on screen doing fun things. It could be fun. It's pitching itself, especially with the logo type font and all that, as a fun adventure. I just don't know what the hook is, other than Baby Yoda. And right now, Baby Yoda is not enough of a hook anymore.
Well, it makes me wonder if like this is going to be geared a little bit more kiddie than the TV show even was, with all the Muppets in it. Because I just have zero desire to see it because I haven't cared about the show since the second season. So,
that's it. There's no hook in the trailer.
I mean, yeah, Baby Yoda's cute, but
that's it. That's what they're doing here.
That always did make me chuckle his little.
Impressive.
I guess my big wonder is, do I have to go see fucking season 3 now to know what happens here? Because I totally fell out of season 3. I watched one episode.
Yeah.
Good shot, baby.
Anyway. So yeah, that's the trailer, and I'm not afraid to show that because Disney usually, that's the one thing they are cool about, is they don't normally claim shit. So there you go, kids. If you hadn't seen it.
For the 30 people who see it, if it's good, you shouldn't have to have seen the movies. You should have been let's just say overall benefited from the larger narrative picture, and that's about it. But if it's that good, it should be able to stand on its own 2 feet. But if it's a homework assignment, that already is a sign of dead on arrival. Yeah, I didn't watch season 3 either. And I'm glad
the hook is they need a Star Wars film in theaters. That's the hook. Right. Shit. Let's bring this show to a close. I want to thank all the mods for all your help today. Sorry for all the it gets really kind of heated when it comes to those kind of conversations, and I understand a lot of people have a lot of different points of view. And as long as people are being civil, I have no problem with anybody speaking their mind. If they're being overly aggressive and attacking people individually, that's a little different. But I mean, if people are just having, a little discourse and discussing things, as long as it's being civil, I don't care. I have no problems with that. But anyhow, there was the Bride trailer. I don't really want to talk about that because I'm like so confused by this thing. Because am I the only one who remembers the Sting film, The Bride, which has already done this? Kind of a modernized version-ish of Frankenstein. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But Captain Fandom Nerd says, thank you for the open discussion. Well, we try. We do our best. Yeah. If anybody remembers Shane, I'm not against talking to people from the other side. Well, that's some old deep cut lore from Midnight After Dark. That's back in the Star Trek days. Never heard back from Shane. Such a fake little shit. Anyhow, let's get out of here. Nick, you got Toxic Tuesday coming up with Van Wilder tonight. I've seen it a million times. I don't know if I'll necessarily make it, but I'll do my best. It's a good film, though. It's a fun film.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Toxic
A
Tuesday.
National Lampoon's film.
Yes, sir. National Lampoon, hour and 20 minutes. It's gonna be a fun time. I hope you guys come hang out because we're gonna have a blast talking about a National Lampoon movie, and one that I'm surprised we haven't talked about sooner because Van Wilder is a wild time. And I see Mark in the chat. What's up, Mark? And D-Bud, thank you for plugging the Rumble link. I appreciate that. I hope to see a lot of you guys too. Oh, tomorrow night, there will be a member stream. So on Central Time, around 9 o'clock p.m. So I hope to see a lot of you guys there. Come hang out. We'll talk about whatever. Thanks for having me, Tom.
Of course. And CC, what you got going on?
Yeah, not a whole lot. Just gonna, I don't know, work on the channel, probably. Clean the plate, clean my room. Probably can do that too.
All right. Well, that sounds exciting. Maybe he'll live stream that.
I could.
Watch me. Actually, there is, I think, a whole like subcategory of like YouTube where that's all it is, like cleaning and organizing videos and stuff like that. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I would not be the least bit surprised. Especially OCD people would watch that shit all day long. I bet. I guarantee it. But anyhow, head on over to Nick's on not on YouTube but Rumble. But hopefully now that Rumble or that YouTube is, I can't even keep my shit straight tonight. Hopefully now that YouTube has admitted the wrongdoing that they've done over the years, things will calm down over on YouTube. But I doubt it, considering your issues with Toxic Tuesday have more to do with stupid copyright crap that make no sense. But yeah. So anyhow, with that, let's get on out of here. Take care of yourself, kids. Till next time. See ya.
Cute kitty.